Here we are. Push to pass. Yeah, that probably shouldn't be legal. Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. As promised, here we are in a facelift Taycan. This one, specifically the Sport Turismo Turbo S. Yes, we had to go full fat, didn't we? Because why not? And also good to compare it to my current one, which is also, of course, a Turbo S. Now, we have to give credit to Porsche here. We cannot discount what they've done, both pre and post facelift, to this platform as a whole. Right, it doesn't look much different, and right now it feels very much like a Taycan. You know, I feel right at home here. Not too bad, right? But what they've done under the hood is, quite frankly, mind-melting. When would you be able to go from a 991.1 to a 991.2 Turbo S facelift and get another 200, 250 brake horsepower? Right? It just wouldn't happen. The numbers on this one are absolutely mind-blowing. They really are. Here's the big thing for me. My current one, my current Turbo S, has 616 brake horsepower constant. At launch mode it has 750, also 774 pounds-foot of torque. The constant bhp on this one is 762-ish brake horsepower, conversion aside. So it has more than my current one does at launch all the time. Yeah, it feels quick. It feels very quick indeed. And we're in normal mode right now, taking it relatively easy. Now, the chassis in this previous one, my current one, is brilliant, fantastic, one of the best bits about the car. This one is supposed to be even better, and I have to say, initially, this one feels like it's doing an even better job of these terrible roads which we have in the UK. It is wonderful. It's like being on a magic carpet floating down the road. It is so good in that respect. Yeah, they've absolutely nailed this. They've improved on, I think, what was already very good. Now we'll get it into sport mode in a bit and see what this car can really do. But right now, no real surprises. Very much a Porsche Taycan. Starting with the outside of the car and looking at it, yes, it is a Taycan for sure. This is the Sport Turismo version of the body, and the biggest changes have been around the front of the car here. Luckily, they have maintained that teardrop design that you can see here. Now, on dark colours, it is not as obvious. I think the teardrop design looks great on lighter colours. It really stands out, but you've not lost it on the Turbo and Turbo S. On the new base and 4S, yes, you lose this feature. Also, you have this extra piece here, this shielding, if you like, which kind of gives it a bit more of an aggressive look. On the Cross Turismo, you can configure it with an off-road pack, which gives you additional shark fins down the side, which I think looks really cool on this car. Here we have the HD Matrix headlights, the new variant of them, and the technology on this is kind of mind-blowing. Unfortunately, it's daytime, so we won't be able to get to experience the full capability of these lights. I'm under the impression that there's 32,000 micro LEDs that can be individually controlled, which is insane. So at night, this must give a really clear view of the road. And of course, we've got the 4 corner points as you see on the previous version of the Taycan. So what do you think about the new front end? Is it as good as the old one? Is it better? Is it worse? You prefer it? We have the new Porsche badge here, which is great. I love the new badge. It looks much better than the previous one, much classier. So well done, Porsche, for finally updating that emblem. Round the side, so these are also Mission E wheels. As you'll know, the current Taycan I have, the Turbo S, also has Mission E wheels, but yes, these look completely different. And why is that? Well, because of this rim here, it doesn't exist on the previous ones, and it makes the wheels look smaller. It is designed to give you more aerodynamic efficiency and improve the range, something which this car does very well indeed over the old variant. But honestly, I would rather sacrifice the range over looks. I prefer the old ones to these. I just love it when people pull out in front of you without even looking. So we'll overtake him, because we can do that easily in this, right? This has a bigger battery, 105 kilowatt hours. Previous one, 93 kilowatt hours. So you get much more range. Now, right now this is charged up to 92%, and I'm showing 267 miles of range, which is more than I'd ever seen in the previous one. And this is a demonstrator, so absolutely this car will have been driven enthusiastically, totally ragged probably, safely I hope, without doubt. So I think that range figure is looking pretty good, and I bet if you get that up the motorway, longer journeys, it improves significantly. Now, I've never really worried about range too much, but the current or previous Taycan, my current Taycan, is frustratingly just on the cusp of where I'd like it to be, because you have to charge up on long trips more than you'd like to, and there's some round trips that I make that I can't do on one full tank of electrons. But this is really very good, a significant improvement, and the improvements aren't in weight of the battery, they're in the chemistry of the battery, improved chemistry. I think the previous NMC version of the Taycan battery is probably a little bit dated, that pouch format that it uses. There's been a lot of issues with it, battery modules failing, etc. It just hasn't been great, so I think the technology was potentially a little bit outdated, maybe behind some of the competitors, and I hope it has improved significantly for this. Now, the other great thing about this car is it has the push to pass feature. So we get back onto the numbers now. It's about 820 foot-pound torque, which is significant, but not that much more than the previous version. So we have 762 bhp at all times. What do we have at launch? Well, at launch we have a whopping 938 bhp, and we've also got this push to pass feature, which gives you an extra 90 bhp on that constant bhp figure for overtaking, which is really very exciting indeed. So this car is significantly more powerful than the previous version. I think the launch is going to have to be experienced to see what it's like. And coming around to the rear of the car, this is probably the best angle of any Taycan, be it Cross Turismo, be it Sport Turismo, be it Saloon. It looks really great from this angle. Lots of road presence and a very graceful look as well, I think. Something that Porsche have done a fantastic job of here. But yet no major changes to speak of from this angle. The bit that has changed is down here. You'll see this vent. It's not a real vent, it's just a plastic trim to give it a slightly more aggressive look. You get this on the Turbo and the Turbo S. This obviously has the carbon elements available here as well. But apart from that, no significant changes. You get the same rather large boot in the Sport Turismo, bigger than the Saloon, of course, and with the seats folded down, I think it's over 1,000, about 1,100 litres of capacity, so pretty significant. Again, electric boot as standard. I've noticed that the trim seems to be a little bit updated. The buttons have a different feel to them as well than the previous one, but it does look pretty similar, right? It is a wonderful place to be. The cabin is absolutely sublime. It's so quiet, so comfortable. I've spoken about this on previous videos, so great job Porsche in maintaining what is already a great car and throwing more power at it. Why not? Now, the thing is with the Taycan is people say, oh, you don't need any more power in a Turbo S. I honestly think you do a little bit, because these are heavy cars. 2.3 tons. Right? They're very heavy cars. And if you don't have a lot of power in them, they don't feel as responsive and as agile as they should. And that's one thing that you need to do with a heavy car, is chuck more power in it to get it to feel like, for example, more like a 911, which has a much better power to weight ratio. So especially above 100 miles an hour, when we had it around track, the previous version really kind of ran out of steam, unfortunately. But this, I'm told, is much better now. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to experience that today because of the fact that we are on public roads. Rather frustratingly, I'm going to be at Silverstone this week, and it would be great to have this for that, just to see what it's all about. But yeah, so this, wow, this at launch is going to be ballistic. that was a normal constant BHP, and it felt the same as my previous one at launch, quite rightly so, because those figures are pretty much exactly the same, the constant BHP and launch. So that is, that's brilliant. The fact that you've got that power on tap at all times now is fantastic, and hats off to Porsche for doing such a grand job of that. So I'm going to get to some rows where we can really open the taps up a little bit more and try the push to pass and the launch, etc. Just see how we go there. From an interior perspective, no major changes. It's very much, as you can see, a Porsche Taycan. And also, we still have these cup holders. I wish they'd do something with them. They do divide people quite a lot. And I was hoping they'd do something a bit more presentable with them, but they've just left them as is. Maybe the next version we'll see an update there. But yet, same screen layout as you'd expect, the same dashboard layout as you'd expect. Now, the graphics look to have changed slightly. We've got that push to pass thing there. We'll get on to try that in a bit. This Sport Plus icon looks like it might be a little bit bigger, but very much same feel. And of course, we've got the new badge in the center of the steering wheel there. Much more understated, much more classy. But the big change is one you can see there. Yes, we've got this button here, which is push to pass. You can see that push to pass there. Quite excited about trying that. Apparently, it is quite something to behold. Another thing I've noticed they've done on this car is they've updated that electric sports sound, which I have on my current Taycan. I think it's a great feature. It just adds a little bit of spice to the driving experience, gives you a bit more of a sensation of what you're doing in terms of acceleration or deceleration. It does marry up absolutely perfectly with what the car is doing. So I think 2 years of research went into that. It's got a more aggressive sound in this one, which gets louder the more you accelerate or brake. So that's quite a cool feature that they've added to this, improved on what was already there. Also, I think it has a little blip sound effect when you're accelerating, so we'll try that in a bit as well. Definitely a different sound. Yeah, I don't know how well you can hear that on camera. I think there might be more coming into the cabin. Yeah, that's a lot louder, right? Incidentally, this car can regen up to 400 kilowatts, which is significant. The previous one, 290, which is already mad. I think a Tesla can manage about 70 or 80. So that is brilliant. You want to recoup as much energy as you can under braking in this car, especially if you're flying around a track and braking constantly, because these things around track absolutely eat through those batteries. Yeah, I really do like the new sports sound. Unfortunately, we're in a bit of traffic here, but we'll get onto a road where we can open it up in a second or two. Another thing to note, they've changed this, so it's now up and down to set your speed as opposed to away from you and towards you, and you can also use this to toggle the mode on the dash, which is how the previous version should have been. So there's an improvement there. Also, the buttons, the knobs themselves, they just feel like they're kind of improved the tactile response that you get from them. So yeah, it's a really good job they've done of this. I really can't fault that. Well done. Oh, dare I say it as well, I think that the turn in on this is a little bit sharper. It feels a little bit sharper in sports mode. It doesn't feel like it wants to maybe skip quite as much when you get to a roundabout and you're making a sharp turn. How it manages around a track, I'd love to see, but alas, we won't get a chance to do that. So if we go into normal mode here, we have 261 miles available, and in Sport Plus it drops down to 232, which is still pretty good. Now we're going to get to a slip road here, get onto a dual carriageway where we're going to be able to try the push to pass feature and see how that goes. And I have to say, this will actually be the most power I've ever experienced in any car, I think, that I've been in. Yeah, pretty much, which is quite exciting. So let's see what happens. If I don't make it, thanks for following. Right, push to pass. Yeah, that probably shouldn't be legal. I mean, brutally quick, but oh, so smooth as well. And so much fun. So much fun. Wow, what they've done there. What an amazing job. And you heard how loud that electric sports sound becomes when you floor it in that mode. You could have a lot of fun in this car, I'm sure. Do you hear that? Push to pass, you get a bit of a gimmick, but a bit of fun. This car could be a lot of fun, I have to say. I think for me is, I just get a sense, we have to watch the speed limits of course, but I get a sense that this will just keep on pulling beyond 100 miles an hour. Just keep on going, whereas my current one just loses its legs a little bit. This has that extra power that you really, quite frankly, need to push this car down the road as quickly as possible, given its immense size. We should get somewhere where we can try a little bit of a launch as well. Okay, fortunately we've got into a situation where we can try the launch as safely as possible, of course. So, launch control activated, and here we go. And yeah, okay, that's quick. I think you might have probably seen my face actually get pulled back a little bit there. It's that rapid. It is that rapid, but so smooth, so unbelievably smooth. Just no wheel spin as well, no drama. How a car can go that fast with so little drama, again, fries my head as somebody that's driven petrol cars all my life. I mean, if you did that in a V12 Lambo, there's probably going to be a lot of spinning and a lot of drama. This would blow that out the water, but with no drama. It's just such a conundrum to get your head around. It really is. And what a job they've done of this car. Well done, Porsche. The brake feel as well, it's better. It's more like what you'd be used to in a combustion car. It's kind of got that firmer, more progressive feel to it, and you get much better feedback when you're braking. Again, another improvement there. Improvements all around the board. So I think we can wrap this video up, sum up what Porsche have done with this, the Facelift Taycan. And yeah, I think they've absolutely smashed it. I think, in terms of the handling, it just seems sharper. It seems like you turn in better. It seems lighter. The car feels lighter. And I think they might have done that because they've thrown a lot more power at it. It just feels nimble, really nimble. The previous car, my current car, doesn't have that feeling of being nimble. It's rapid, but not nimble. They've absolutely done a phenomenal job on this. And to improve this much from pre to post facelift is, quite frankly, amazing. So well done, Porsche. What remains to be seen is how reliable these are. I hope all the learnings of the first gen have gone into this and it's a much more stable platform. There's no reason why it shouldn't be, because the Porsche engineers have been all over continually improving the current or old version that I have, with fixes and updates, etc., just to make sure that it is a great car. Now, this car is absolutely brilliant. I didn't think it would be that much more mind-blowing than the current version, but it is. They've absolutely smashed it. Well done, Porsche. Brilliant job of this car. It's seriously brilliant. More range, everything feels more solid, it turns in better. It just is fantastic. But it isn't perfect, because right now these things are not looking attractive from a financial perspective. And while this car is going to win all its battles on the track, the real battles you're going to be fighting with this car are those that you have with your accountant. That's it for this one. Do stay safe, stay well. See you on the next one, and bye for now.